All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today for our Soma at Home session. We have Alyssa Hodgson with us. She is the cousin of Lena and Jesse, who many of you guys know. They are athletes with Special Olympics Missouri. And Alyssa is going to be talking with us about firefighter fitness and a little bit of safety, maybe. So go ahead and take it over, Alyssa.
Great. Thanks, Alyssa. Hi, everyone. Yep, my name's Alyssa Hodgson. I'm 30 years old. I'm currently training to be a firefighter. I live just outside of Vancouver, BC, and that's in Canada. So, yeah, my cousin Lena and Jesse are sumo athletes, and I had the pleasure of watching them take home some medals when they were in the games in Seattle in 2018. That was really awesome. And yeah, so I'm here to speak to you on firefighter fitness. So honestly, with firefighter fitness, there's a balance. You need to obviously have strength, endurance, cardio. And it's funny because a lot of people kind of think, okay, when I think of a firefighter, I think of muscles, I think of brute strength. But the interesting thing is a lot of things that require strength in fire, also there's typically a great technique for some of the smaller firefighters. So you really don't have to have these massive muscles to be successful as a firefighter, because there's always a different technique you can utilize. And sometimes it works a bit better than just the brute strength. You have a lot more control over that. But what a lot of people might not know is a huge element of firefighter fitness is endurance. Because when we get into the fire ground, you're dealing with smoke. And in smoke, there's small particles with carcinogenics. It's not, you can't breathe it in. It's not good for you. We call it an IDLH atmosphere. So in danger to life and health. So what we use is called an SCBA. So it's a tank with air, face mask. So you use that to be able to breathe. So it's compressed air. Usually the bottles we use are about rated for 4,500 PSI, which is about 45 minutes. But the interesting thing is that's if you're in like a test facility where conditions are perfect, you're not moving around. So in reality, when you're working, on the fire ground and you're exerting yourself, you typically get about half of that 45. So about 22 and a half minutes is what you really get in that bottle. So what's really important is that you can get in, get the job done, and get out of the structure without using all of your air. If you go on low air, you have to immediately exit the structure. It's just not safe to be in there when your air is low. So really, the better shape that you're in, the more that you're going to go through less of your air. So if you're working hard, and if you're in good shape, you're not going to require as much oxygen. So it's way more valuable to have good cardiovascular health and to be fit, than it is to just have that brute strength. Because if you go through that oxygen tank, you're not going to be productive on the fire ground. So obviously strength is also an important part of firefighter fitness, push-ups, squats. One thing that we do a lot is a good thing for us to have for fitness is a weighted vest. So I have my weighted vest, Velma. I'll try and show her to you guys in a bit, but she's 40 pounds. So push-ups, squats, pull-ups if you can do it. Just stairs are huge. You do a lot of stairs in firefighting, so you have to be fit for that. Yeah, and so that's really a big thing we do with fitness. But yeah, the last thing I want to touch on was the physical that all firefighters have to. It's pretty much a physical that you have to complete in order to actually really apply to any department, and that's called a CPAT. So a CPAT essentially is you have about 10 minutes and 20 seconds to get through. I believe it's those 7 or 8 stations that are all related to firefighting. It's kind of your typical basic fire ground, practices. So you start off, you have a 50-pound vest on the entire time. You start off on stairs, you're going 60 steps a minute. You need to do that for 3 minutes. During that time, you have an apartment pack on, which is an additional 25 pounds. After you've completed that, you take the apartment pack off. This is where leg strength is huge, because if you don't have leg strength, your legs are jello after that and you're shot for the rest. And that's the first station. So then you go to a hose drag. You drag a hose 25 feet and then continue to drag the rest of the hose over a line. You go to an equipment carry, which is kind of representative of like, saws or different, machines that we use on the fire ground. So you have to take two pieces of equipment, which are about 40 pounds each, and you kind of farmer carry it to and from a point. We have a ladder raise. So you raise a 25-foot ladder up and down. If there's any slippage with the rope, you're done. So grip strength is huge for that. And then we do a forced entry. So we take a sledgehammer and we hit a piece that we have to give a certain amount of force. And once that's activated, you're good. It takes about, 10 to 15 swings usually. Then you go into, you're covered up so you can't see, you go into a maze. So what this is also testing you for is, can you handle small, dark spaces? Because in fire, everything's dark, smoke takes over. You don't have a lot of visibility. So you need to be able to move in a small, confined, dark space. So you go through kind of a tunnel, a maze. A good thing for this is what they call bear crawls with your vest on. So you can really work on being on all fours without your knees touching the ground to get through that. Then you do a dummy drag. So the dummy weighs anywhere from 180 to 200 pounds. You drag it, 25, 50 feet or so and back. And then the last station's a push and pull. So you push up on, I believe, 80 pounds. You have a pike pull, which is a long, thin pole that's used a lot for tearing down ceiling and stuff on the fire ground. So you push up on a weight of, I think, 80 pounds on a hinge. And you have to do that, 5 times, I believe, 4 times. And then you pull down on another bit of weight. I think it's 120 or so. And you do that 3 to 5 times or so. And that you need to do 4 sets of that, and then you're done. Something I really realized when I was doing the CPAT, and again, this is all about technique, was it was really difficult at the end. Your arms are shot and your legs aren't doing great either. But as a female, I knew I had a lot of leg strength. So what I actually did when I was pushing the weight up on the hinge with the pike pole was I actually put my knee under the bottom of the pike pole, used my lower body strength and pushed up. And that was actually a lot easier than me just trying to brute strength it with my arms and my shoulders and have no other help from my body. So in general, like anything else, with firefighter fitness, it's about utilizing your entire body, be smart, and make good decisions, and don't hurt yourself. That's a big one too. Take care of yourself, eat well, get lots of sleep, because when you're in the fire hall, you're going to get a call at fires don't know time, and ruckus and all that tends to happen a little bit more at night. So, if it's 2 a.m. and you're in a deep sleep, you're up pretty quick with your turnout gear on and on the truck in 2 minutes. So yeah, anyways, I hope this has been fairly knowledgeable for you guys. I'd be happy to answer any questions, but other than that, go Somo. And thanks for having me.
I have a question. How many times do you guys have to, or how often do you have to take that physical test?
So it expires within a year. So it lasts a year, but then once you're hired on with the department, you don't need to keep it current.
Oh, really? So how do people know when it's time to retire?
Yeah, no, there's a bit of a joke with some of the older guys where I've heard them say like, I don't want to go take the CPAT again, but when you've done your time, you put your work in, you have your techniques down. And I mean, those guys are really just overseeing a lot more stuff anyways, rather than partaking in the physical stuff. But I know those guys would have no problem being on the fire ground with us. So it's more to just make sure that as a new firefighter, you have what it takes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. That was really cool to hear about that. If you guys have questions and you're watching, maybe you could put your questions in the comments on Facebook, and maybe Alyssa would go through and comment on that. I'm sure Lena can show you how to watch the video again. So, all right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us today.